Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome to Wow Wednesday. I am your host, Nancy Matthews, one of the founders of Women's Prosperity Network, bringing you this midweek boost of motivation, education, and inspiration so that you're consistently moving forward in a way that feels good and is prosperous all at the same time. We're here today with Dr. Heather Tucker, and I'll bring her on in just a moment. For those who may be joining us for the very first time, let me kind of give you the lay of the land. We'll go for about 30 minutes with our guest today, and then we will open up for question and answer. So as you're hearing our conversation and the interview this morning, if something comes to mind, an insight, an aha, or a question, jot it down so that we can be sure to serve you. And that's one of the magical things about Wow Wednesday is you get the opportunity to speak to our guests, get your questions answered in real time. So happy that you're here for that. Let me share, before we bring on Dr. Heather, a couple of quick updates about Women's Prosperity Network happenings and what's going on in the community. First of all, I want to let you know that we have pulled out all the stops and created what I'm calling the Level Up Inspired Action program. Over the years, the past 15 and a half years that we've had Women's Prosperity Network, we have devised systems and tools and formulas, rinse and repeat formulas that you can apply to your business to up-level, to level up your business and your life, combining it with today's best tools. So in addition to giving you some real powerful systems and formulas to grow your business, your marketing, your messaging, ramping up your vision, we've also pulled out from our collection what I'm calling the Legends series. And this is a series of conversations, interviews, as well as presentations with some of the world's leading thought leaders. And I'm talking about Jack Canfield, author of The Success Principles and Chicken Soup for the Soul. Sharon Lechter, who is the co-author of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad series, as well as the author of Think and Grow Rich for Women. Michael Gerber, the author of The E-Myth. We have had the privilege of bringing these experts to you, and I thought, why is this wisdom that they share sitting in archives that nobody can access? So I have put an amazing bundle together for you that is only $67. Blow your mind. So check your email. You'll see the information about this special, or go ahead and jot this down now. Go to womensprosperityNetwork.com/special 2023, special 2023. You want to grab this because we're only making it available this week at this crazy good price. And I want you to soak in the formulas as well as these legends sharing their timeless principles for success. So go ahead and grab that. We do have our 2-day in-person Level Up workshop happening June 16th and 17th. So be sure you get a ticket for that. And monthly networking, our members only session, our monthly mastermind. We are committed to giving you tools and resources and connections with the most extraordinary women entrepreneurs. And Dr. Heather Tucker is one of those. So welcome, Dr. Heather.
Thanks so much, Nancy. I'm so happy to be here with you this morning and these amazing ladies.
Yes. And we're going to have a great conversation. When Heather and I were preparing for the call today, the song came to mind, Free Your Mind and the Rest Will Follow. That's what we're going to talk about today. Right? It's
Good.
So let me tell you about Heather. Dr. Heather is the founder and CEO of Another Level Living. It's the only professional training and coaching company that produces deep, powerful transformations for entrepreneurs worldwide who want to overcome great fear and stand fully in their power, unshakable, so that they can master communication and relationships in both business and in life with, I love this, ease and grace. Just soak that in for a moment. Free your mind and the rest will follow. She is a master business life harmony trainer, a speaker, and a coach. She guides her clients in achieving total success and victory by using strategies that support them in working smarter, stressing less, increasing energy, expanding capacity to receive abundance, and strengthening all of their relationships. She also certifies life coaches and communication mind experts and has certified over 400 life coaches to date. This led to her creating a community that is called the Aloha Mastermind and Ohana for coaches and practitioners. Welcome, my dear, dear friend, Dr. Heather.
Oh, thank you so much, Nancy. It's such an honor and pleasure to be here with you today and be of service how I can.
And you always shine. I mean, look at that beautiful smile. I know we've got lots of people on the phone. Make sure you go to our Facebook group and see the video so you can see how Dr. Heather really glows, because she takes such joy in what she gets to do, which is helping us all free our minds so that we can enjoy life and business with ease and grace. So I'm ready for some tips. So I'm just going to turn it over to you. Free my mind, Dr. Heather.
I'm ready to free your mind, and everyone else who's listening. Thanks so much for being here. It really has. So she mentioned my smile, right? And I remember years ago, 10, 20 years ago, I would smile, but there wasn't this joy and excitement behind it really, right? And one of the things that if you have a pen and paper, you're going to want to take some notes and write this down. I talk about how we don't have to have a great past to have a great future. We can recreate, we can restore ourselves each and every day. And a lot of our change, our growth, and our transformation begins with us, begins in our mind and expands from there, our mind space, our heart space. For those of you who are in business, you want to know that your business is an extension of all that you are. Right? So how we go is how the business goes. If we're shaky and wobbly, then the business is going to be shaky and wobbly. If we're clear, confident, congruent, solid, then the business would have a solid foundation. You know, a lot of times there's these conflicts in our mind. You ever said, part of me feels this way and another part of me feels this way, or my mind says one thing and my heart says another? All of these internal conflicts are totally possible to break free from. So what I have for you today, I have a great simple acronym for the word, or acrostic for the word mind. Okay. And it's funny because each one of these letters have two meanings to them. I couldn't pick, so I'm going to give you both of them. First, I want to share with you, why is this something that's so important? It is our beliefs, both conscious and unconscious, that shape our reality. They make or break our success, right? So what we think about, we can bring about. And a lot of times we think that we can't really control the squirrels, control the mind, be able to have that clarity of what's possible. It could even be that there's been so many things that have happened, right? How can I be able to overcome those things that have happened so I can be more in the present, right? It's possible to heal the past, to live more in the present, and have a bigger vision for the future, right?
Let me pause for a second, because I know for me personally, there have been, like, I know this, like, you're not telling me something I haven't heard before, right?
Okay.
And there are times in my own experience when it felt like so much was happening and there were so many choices to make, or things weren't going the way that I wanted. Like, I felt like, yeah, that sounds good, but like in the depths of the struggle and the stress, it can be really challenging to kind of climb your way out of that. And I know you're here today to make it easy for us to apply these principles, apply these strategies, whether you're sailing along pretty good or whether things are really challenging and you're like just looking for that one hook to find your way out, right?
So good and so true. So like, you know, these things that happen in our life, these significant emotional events, it can be even these internal situations, conflicts, and it can also be external things that can happen. And one of the things that I want you to know is some things that we can't control what happens. We can control how we respond. And that's where the greatest power is in our response. I mean, it's so interesting. I remember like being so overwhelmed. There's like this popping moment where you just want to check out, maybe go watch TV, go do something else, just hang out, right? And what happens in those times is our mind is overloaded. So one of the things that you should know about me is my background is in IT technology, right? And so what I realized is that our mind is like a computer. We can overwhelm, we can overthink, we can overanalyze, we can go in this spiral down so easily. And what I'm going to share with you today will help you be able to recognize, oh, this is a spiral down moment. How can I spiral back up? Okay.
Yeah, bring it.
All right. So the first one, M. I want you to know that mental and emotional freedom is totally possible. So a lot of times we think that we can't be able to overcome some of the things that have happened. Like a lot of our present situations, if you think about overreactions, have any of you overreacted?
Yeah, like, oh, why did I say that? Right.
Right. And you see yourself overreacting, but there's nothing you can do to stop it, right? Until it's over. What happens is that's just the present moment. It doesn't have as much to do with the present moment as it does with this linkages of all the past things that have happened. For example, somebody could overreact. Who ate the last donut, right? It's not about that one donut. It's about all those other times before that people have done that. And then it's this overreaction. All that links up in the moment, and then you get blah.
No.
So it's possible to be able to unravel and heal those past significant emotional events. So therefore, if something similar happens in the present, you can be like, oh, okay, this is interesting. And the reaction is not so overwhelming and automatic based on what has happened.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons why the mindset is key. Mindset is key. Think about not just even your own overreactions, but maybe even the overreactions of other people. Right? It's like the more that you're able to understand how your mind works and you're able to see the patterns that happen in your mind, so to make this clear, you have the mind is kind of divided into 3 categories. You have the conscious mind, which is like 10% of your mind, right? So we consciously want to achieve a goal. We consciously want to do this. Then we have the unconscious mind that is a great collection of everything that you've ever experienced in your entire life and then some, right? So
that's a lot.
I know. So the conscious mind is like the go-getter or the goal setter, but the unconscious mind is what's going to actually allow you to achieve the goal. If there's
or not,
like we can automatically self-sabotage, procrastinate, think it has to be too hard. Whatever we think about, we bring about. So, what does this do? Like, what does this do? Not being able to break free and take the pressure off of the mind. This is one of the things where we get weighed down. Has something ever happened? And then you're like, oh my gosh, it takes you out for a little bit. And then you bounce back. And then something happens again and it takes you out for a little bit and then you bounce back. The more that you're having that bouncing back is creating the staggering progress. There's a difference between that versus having exponential progress in spite of what's going on.
And that's where we want to get, because stuff's always going to go on.
Always.
Yes.
Always. Always. So we want to kind of count that all joy. We're just touching the tip of the iceberg here. So for M, you got mental and emotional freedom is totally possible. That's one of the things I want you to know. Because really, I remember a time where I didn't even think it was possible. And then I'm like, wow, if I could overcome these things, it's so much easier to be able to show other people, hey, I've been there. I get where you're coming from. I can relate, not be attached to it, but know that there's freedom on the other side. On the other side of all fear is freedom, faith, and a whole new level of fulfillment.
The golden nugget on the other side of fear is freedom, faith, and a whole nother level of fulfillment.
Yes, which
So
brings this
fun.
genuine smile, right? Because it's about putting the passion back. You know, all of us, we had this desire to start a business. We saw that there was a need. We had this passion. And when a lot of these mind battles go on or heart battles go on, then we lose heart, we lose focus.
Mhm.
And it's possible to reclaim our power and be able to get that passion and that purpose and heart space back and then some. It's actually even more expanded than when it was before. So the I stands for intuition, expands, wisdom, and your uniqueness. Okay. So let me repeat that again.
Yeah.
Intuition expands, wisdom, and your uniqueness. See, you know, a lot of times we focus on the doing. I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. Eventually I can have, and then I'll be able to just be. Is actually the opposite or a different way. It's about being first. How do you want to be that makes it much more easier to do? And then having is just a natural byproduct. This is why we operate out of ease, grace, and flow. Things happen faster. Things just, align so much more well. We have so much to do. The question is, how do we want to be while we're doing it? And when we take the pressure off of our mind, it actually allows our natural intuition to expand. And the part about this uniqueness is so key because a lot of times we see ourselves as perceptions of other people's opinions, other people's perceptions, other people's model of the world. Well, the goal is to break free from all of that because no two minds think alike. Right. And when you step into you and your uniqueness, a lot of times we want to sometimes fit in. But why try to fit in when you were born to stand out? It makes all the difference.
Yeah.
The other thing about I is that it's all about energy and intention. It's all about the energy that you are, the energy that you carry. And a lot of people, I know years ago, I'm like, I don't understand this energy thing. Well, you think about it. You go into a room and you're like, oh, something feels funky about this room. Okay, you recognize there's something going on. Or you go to a WPN event. Like I went to my first level up in Orlando and I walk in and I'm like, oh, this energy is really cool. I like this. And I lock eyes with your sister, Trish. And she's like, do I know you? And I'm like, no, not yet, but you will. And literally that day, I became a lifetime member. So it's all about that understanding the energy and letting that guide you, your intuition guide you.
Yeah. And trusting it. There's a book by Malcolm Gladwell called Blink, and it's all about that intuition, that gut feeling that you get. Like our bodies know. And what you talk about there, when you walk in a room and you're like something like, and then you see maybe there's an altercation or somebody's not getting along, like you can feel that emanating compared to coming to a WPN event. And I'm delighted that whether we're in person or online, we've been able to keep that energy and that essence flowing where you're like, oh, this feels good. This feels like home. Yeah, I'm good here. Right. It's a big difference.
Totally.
Yeah.
And you're so right. Your body
Your
knows,
body
right?
knows.
So it's interesting in Think and Grow Rich, or not Think and Grow Rich, Receiving Your Riches, which is based
Yes.
on Think and Grow Rich.
Science of getting rich.
The
Yeah.
science of getting rich. He talks about the body, the mind, and the spirit. And a lot of times we can focus on one. All three of them have to be connected. Well, what's in the middle? The mind. So when there's this awesome connection with the mind, then all of them flow in harmony and they can be able to better work on one accord as compared to working conflicted with each other.
That's bringing that all into balance. Love it.
Exactly.
All right, we've got M. I'm going to recap for everybody here. Mind is M is that mental and emotional freedom is possible. I is for your intuition expands wisdom and your uniqueness. And the letter N
Okay, the letter N is nothing is impossible.
Mm,
Nothing is impossible. So the question is, what do you want? Right? What do you want? A lot of times when I'm talking to people, I hear immediately what they don't want. Right? And when we say what we don't want, the mind is like, okay, I want this. Right? So it's like we saying we want what we don't want. But the part is about thinking about what it is that you want and how to get results. How to get results? Where do results come from? Results come from your actions. Where do your actions come from? They come from your emotions and your thoughts. Where do your emotions and thoughts come from? They come from your programming. So it's like when you're able to and it's possible to reprogram the mind. That's one of the things we talk about for success, for total success, productivity, and prosperity. And then it trickles down into all of the thoughts, emotions, actions, and results.
yeah.
And also, oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask, so we're talking about reprogramming, and I know neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, is one of the things that you provide lots of training and support on. I'm also certified in that as well. And just touch base on reprogramming, because I think people could get scared about reprogramming. Like, we've seen those movies. Well, I don't want to be scared, why, right? So let's just talk about this programming process a little bit, so that nothing is impossible. You can shift your mind. You gotta, how do we get there?
Oh, this is so good. This is so good. So, there's these common, for example, limiting beliefs. Maybe I'm not good enough. Who am I to deserve this? Like, who am I to receive my multi-million-dollar company? Who am I to do all these things? Well, all of those limiting beliefs, we probably have picked them up from our situations in childhood, our parents, things get trickled down, right? And with programming, we can change that. They may have served us at one time. The unconscious mind wants us to stay safe. It wants us to be, the goal is for it to preserve the body.
That's its job, right? That's its job.
Exactly. Yet when everything is changing or we're constantly called to another level, there's this resistance that says, no, stay here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons why it's so important to change that, to eradicate that belief. What do you want instead? I'm totally worth it. I'm totally amazing. People love my services. So when you own that, and when you're able to shift that unconsciously, so let me just explain to you this way. You know how there's this thing that talks about as above, so below. Well, as within, so without. So our mind, we're basically filtered through our own perceptions. And when we change those perceptions, we see things differently. This is why it's important to be the change that we wish to see. And then you'll be amazed at how everything else changes around you.
That's right.
So that's just touching the tip of it. Definitely.
Awesome.
And I hope that helps. There's so much more to it. That's just a little segment.
Right. And you're going to let us know how we can continue to work with you and workshops. So sit tight, everyone. We're going to make sure that you can stay on this path. And with the way the world is, the way that our minds are, and that huge, huge bucket of unconscious, subconscious beliefs going on, we need to be intentional. So that's where the letter I can come in again. Be intentional on what our thoughts are. What are we saying about ourselves, to ourselves, about each other, about the future? And that's where the programming needs to change. I like to call our minds this folktale factory. Its job is to constantly make things up and interpret. Like the job of the mind is to interpret what you see around you, that whole perception piece you were talking about. And if I'm interpreting things through a filter of I'm not good enough, well, guess what? But when I can change the filter and the interpretation based upon I am a divine being deserving of anything that I can imagine, then you see things differently. Opportunities appear, all of that. So the programming needs to change in order for our lives to change. And that's what this work is all about. So free your mind and the rest will I just can't help it.
It's so true. It's so true because you know what? The only constant is change.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so interesting how we can resist change, especially unconsciously. But when we actually lean into it, okay, what's the next thing that's going to serve me? Every level that you go to, so N also stands for never stop rising. As you go to the next level, there's going to be a new mindset, a new elevation, a new thing. It's like peeling back the layers of the onion to get to the core of who you are. So therefore you can show up authentically, transparent, confident, congruent, and clear, like everything gets radiated as a result of that, because there's not this clutter going on here or here, right? So I know we only have a few moments. I want to share with you that the D is really, really good.
Okay.
Distractions derail focus. Distractions derail focus. We've been talking about regaining focus in our company all this month, like with our newsletters and everything, because there's so much stuff going on. And right now, everything is on an all-time high. And what is it a result of? What's going on in people's minds? And there could be so much stuff that we can focus on where it causes that easily spiral down, and you can't even see anything else.
Right.
And the world needs you and your message now more than ever. So if we stay distracted by these things, and then we're not really trusting and allowing, we're also derailing our own progress. And so this is why it's important to recognize that D also stands for destination over circumstance.
Ooh, good.
Over circumstance, because your current situation, your current circumstances, even some of the past ones, they're not indicative of where your final destination is. And there's a lot of the power is in the progress. A lot of times we want it to be like now. And even that desire to be able to be like, this has to be resolved now. Again, that creates all this distraction, all of this lost focus. And with your focus, you can be able to improve your success, your productivity. People ask me, Dr. Heather, how do you get all this stuff done? Like, okay.
And she has two small children, a 4-year-old and a 7-month-old. Like, let's be, this woman knows how to do it.
Oh, so true. And it's like, okay, because I know, and I'm in that place where there's total clear here, so I can be present with them, present with my business when it's time. That it's just amazing how when you reclaim the power of your mind, it changes your entire world. And you're actually able to get so much more done in less time. And then there's so much freedom and fun that you can be able to have. You can be totally present when you're working. You can be totally present with your family. You can be totally present and just enjoying and hanging out and going to the beach, because you know that you're totally supported, loved, valued, appreciated, covered,
and most cherished, as our friend Dr. Ross would say.
And most cherished. And the Hawaiian word for that is malama. Malama, right? To cherish. So true. And the one last thing that I'll say is that a lot of times I hear it has to be totally perfect. Like, I can't get this message out there if it's not totally perfect. We have to be able to overcome that perfectionism, because it's not about it. It can become perfected over time. That's something that's just so, and so the message is that you're ready. There's this Hawaiian word that talks about when the drummers are getting ready to dance, or the hula ladies, they're getting ready to dance, and then the drummers will say ho'o mau kau kau, and it doesn't mean are you ready? It means that you're ready. So you're ready wherever you are. You're ready. You just gotta take the next step, and then the path will unfold. But if you're so caught up in the fear of even taking a step enough or what it's going to look like, then you will never be able to get to the place that you're called to be, the full leader that you're called to be. And then there's even more and then some beyond that. My desire is for you to receive all that you are called to receive and then some on every area of life by having peace on all sides.
Mm. I got goosebumps when you're talking about this, especially when you just said when they're starting doing the drums. It's not, are you ready? It's, you are ready. So take action. Just know you're ready. You're good enough. You're deserving. Like, come out. The world is waiting for you.
And who cares if there's mistakes or typos? I know I put a post out. Someone's like, oh, there's a typo. And I was like, okay, we'll fix it. No problem. It doesn't matter,
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Oh, so good. All right, we're going to open up for questions and some more golden nuggets dripping in from Dr. Heather today. Tell us about how we can do some next steps with you. I know you've got a free gift and you have a workshop coming up as well, right?
Yes. So I have a free gift for you. It's called the Focus Files, and it's tips to improve focus and productivity and for total success. And Nancy will put the link in the chat for that. And it's really great. You get like an awesome free class and guide, as well as I do a nice focus strategy that I send you 7 out on one each day, which is really, really perfect. I also have a regaining focus course that I put together. It's a 6-step focus system, 6 simple steps that'll be able to help you reclaim your focus, regain where the distractions have been, and how to be able to get your plan and your prioritizing in line so that it's just so much easier to achieve any goals. And it's lifetime access to that. It's only $37 for you today. And what happens is, well, what's really great is that, say you got a goal, okay, you can use it for one thing, and then, oh, I got another goal, then go ahead back to the system. 6 simple steps will change your world. And if you like this, if you're ready to be like, I resonated with some of the things that you say, we have an upcoming communication mind mastery certification training. We only do it a couple of times a year. And what it's so awesome is that it supports you in strengthening the communication with yourself and others. A lot of times it's sometimes not necessarily the issues with us or that our relationships, they have this reflection of what's going on, but how to be able to communicate with anyone, anytime, anywhere, and no one will ever bullshit you again. So
I love it. I love it. And in the process, we learn how to not bullshit ourselves.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Because we can do that too.
Yes, yes, yes. I love it. I love it. All right. So the 2 links are in the chat. And for those that are here on the phone, go ahead and jot this down. For the free gift, you're going to go to anotherlevelliving.com /focus files, FOCUS FILES, all one word. So anotherlevelliving.com /focus files. And to get the 6-part course that Dr. Heather was talking about, is that a live course or is it recorded?
It's actually recorded as do-it-yourself. It's basically, anytime. Yep, exactly. And you'll have access to it for life. So therefore you can go back to it as you need it. Simple bite-sized pieces.
Yeah, love it. And for that, you're going to go to anotherlevelliving.com /regaining focus. And let me just say this. You may have just started your day, or maybe you've been at it for a little while, or maybe you kept your computer on from last night. How many windows do you have open? You can't focus when you have all those windows open. So let's regain. I get with people sometimes and they have like 50 different things. And I notice with myself too, like that distraction does derail me. So look, really regain focus, because with your mental clarity and your emotional stability, following your intuition, your life is going to be better, and so will the lives of all the people you're here to serve. So go to anotherlevelliving.com /regaining focus. And I'm going to get it ready because I know you got questions and comments for Dr. Heather. So let me make that happen. And excuse me, I'm going to call out a question that we had on Facebook, Dr. Heather, and you said there are 3 parts of the mind: the conscious, the unconscious, and
So good. Oh, so glad that question came. And the higher self, right? So the higher self is like 1%, but this is where we feel that connection to spirit, where we feel that it's almost like the divine part of us, right? And it's so cool because when all of them are working on one accord, it's amazing.
I
That
refer
part,
to it as the super conscious. So the unconscious, the conscious, and the super conscious, which is what Morna Namalaku Simeona with Ho'opono talked about. Super conscious is also referred to by Napoleon Hill.
I love it. I love it. And that's our connection and energy to spirit. It's beautiful, super conscious. I love it.
Yeah. You're welcome. So Nicole, who does a great job of scribing for us and capturing the ideas in the comments on Facebook, she asked the question. So I was like, ooh, she was paying attention.
That was so good. That was so good. Yes. So when they're all connected on one accord, it's so let me just say what happens is the super conscious is connected to the unconscious, right? There's a direct connection. The conscious mind and the unconscious mind naturally don't have a good rapport connection with each other. With NLP, it strengthens that connection between the conscious mind and unconscious mind, which makes it easier to access the superconscious.
That was well said, and probably the most concise way I've heard of how NLP brings us into that alignment. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
All right, we got people in queue. I knew we would. Let's start with Dr. Oz.
Hey, Dr. Heather, you're appreciated, celebrated. My area, oh my gosh. I came in on the half, but I came in on some powerful stuff. And what more, when I go back and listen to the replay, this is going to be the boost for me. My best friend who gained her angel wings, Dr. Japonica, did Your Own Uniqueness. But what you were saying about the 3 levels, she talked about it as your born again self, your rational self, and your ego. So I'm walking. I will be signing up because, the finger and the eyes, I can't chew bubblegum and walk at the same time. But I'm looking forward to going to your website and being able to have a one-on-one moment time with you. So thank you so much for the no BS. I will not tolerate it.
Yeah,
I love you. Thank you.
I love you too. You're welcome. Thanks so much.
Awesome, Dr. Oz. Thank you. And again, just to let you know, go to anotherlevelliving.com/focus files for her free gift, or /regaining focus for the 6-part course. Beautiful. Dr. Oz, you are loved, appreciated, celebrated, valued, and most cherished. I think I got it right.
You got it. And Nancy, I just want to tell the WOW girls who did try to come, there were some technical concerns, but thank you for just taking time to come into the Zoom birthday party. But you got it, Nancy. You got it. I love y'all.
Love you. All right, beautiful. Next up, we're going to go to Laura Barker.
Good morning. Good morning. Oh my gosh. Every word you say, Heather, is just jam-packed with meaning, and I absolutely love it. I have, of course, signed up to get my focus files and the course. I mean, $37. What a gift. I just want to thank you for that, because you and I have talked many times, and I know how amazing your guidance is. And it's really something that is so hard to describe, but anybody who has experienced, and I noticed Olivia in the chat has already taken your course.
Yep.
And just working with you is indescribably powerful and transformative. So for all of you folks out there, golly, jump on this. And then, you spoke my language, Heather, when you said change is the only constant. I learned that a long time ago, as we've talked about, and I embraced it. But I would love for you to just speak a little bit about why that's so freeing.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I love you, Laura, for being here. I really appreciate your kind words. You know, the unconscious mind, as I mentioned before, it resists change, right? It's like, oh my gosh, wait, we're changing. And it's so interesting because like, having my daughter, right? She's going from step or size 2 Pampers and now size 3. And then there's could be this little resistance. No, I just want her to stay this way, right? But we have to be able to allow that process to grow and evolve. We all, we want things to stay the same. But the reality is every single second and every single day is totally different. Right. So we need to be able to go with the change. It's like going with the wind as compared to resisting it. A lot of times what we resist, it persists, it gets louder. Yet when we go with the change, then it's just so much more freeing. Like, oh, this is different. Oh, this is new. So give yourself permission to have a new experience.
Ooh, that's good.
To have a new experience, to have a new opportunity. So even if we think about business, right? We could think about like maybe years ago when we first started our business, there was all this stress, overwhelm, trying to figure out, like, I don't know about you, but I left government and then I came into business and I'm like, I don't know anything about business. So I wanted to learn everything that I could. And if I held on to all that overthinking, that over hard working, then I would never get to the grace and flow. So it's almost being able to appreciate and honor and love the past, present, future you. And what's really cool about that is that you're able to access all the wisdom of the lessons. Like I was listening to the radio while I was taking my daughters to school today. And the lady was like, we can live in the past and we can have all this regret. Right? We can have all this regret, shoulda, woulda, coulda, the list can go on there. Or we can live so much in the future that there's this anxiety, this worry, uncertainty of what's going on. But the only time that we have is right now in this moment. Right now in this moment. So when there's this letting go of, I don't know what it's gonna look like tomorrow. It was really awesome when Nancy said, okay, let's do this. And I'm like, all right, cool, sure, let's do it. I didn't know what I was gonna talk about. I wasn't gonna worry about what it was gonna look like. I could only focus on, all right, being in that present moment. What is the message that needs to be heard, and then delivering it. Think about also like over preparing. I remember when I was briefing like 4-star generals, and it would be like, I would prepare all weekend for the presentation, like all weekend memorizing it to the T. And now, because this pressure and the freedom of the mind and stepping into the natural intuition, it's like, okay, what do we need to talk about? Let's just go. Total difference. So honoring that old self and also the new self, and even more excited about the future self. I hope that I gave you a little bit more. I love to over deliver.
Yeah, so good. Love it. Thank you, Laura Barker. Great question that prompted more, just really wisdom from our dear friend here. Thank you. All right, let's go to Laura Park is next.
Am I supposed to ask something?
If you want, I thought you had your hand up, and if you don't, that's okay too.
No, I like listening. I'm good, but thank you for being here. I signed up for your course, so I'm excited. We all need to remember how to regain focus.
Yes.
Yes. I'm so happy. And then, in that, as you go through the course, enjoy it. I made it sure it was nice and bite-sized. And at the end, it talks about communication mastery. And I'm happy to be able to reconnect with anyone else who wants to be able to go to that next level. It's always a new level, always exciting to be able to be of honor, able to serve. And it's my pleasure to be able to do that for you.
Thank you. I look forward to connecting with you.
You're welcome.
On a deeper level.
Yeah.
Me too.
So good, so good. All right, so if you have a question or a comment, go ahead and raise your hand. If you're on your phone, you can simply hit *6. I believe I've got it all set up on the tech side. Olivia Jones, I saw your hand up and then it went down again. Did you want to ask a question or give a comment?
I do. Give me 1 second, Nancy.
You got it, girl.
I'll be right back.
While we're waiting for her to come back, Dr. Heather, tell us a little bit about this whole aloha vibe that you have.
So good, right? So I was just relisting my values, and aloha is my number one value. So what happens is people just think that aloha means hello, goodbye, I love you. The reality is when I can teach people a deeper meaning of aloha, it's just something that's just takes you out of this world. So it's really my word for even unconditional love. It means joy. It means light. It means truthfulness. It means being able to be humble. Like what you're seeing now, this is not arrogance. It's definitely confidence in a good way. But it's that recognizing that we are all united. Each of us has a piece to the masterpiece, right? Being able to be the word lokahi, connected. It also means patient perseverance on the path. So that's something that's so profound. I used to be one of those people who thought so far in the future, right? But I was never able to be present. And what happens is it's like, okay, the power in the present moment, the path will unfold. Can we have patience? For me, I also feel like it allows the embodiment of the fruits of the spirit, the love, the joy, the patience, the kindness, the forgiveness. Forgiveness is something that's so, so very important when it comes to this journey. Yeah. Not only forgiveness of self, but forgiveness of other people.
Yeah. Another question came up in the chat. Mahalo.
Yes, mahalo means thank you. It means thank you, but I feel like it means more like a thank you from a gratitude, right? I'll share with you one thing that I share in my class, which is so powerful. You want to there's energy behind your words, and different words mean different things to different people. The one that I usually like to share is when we say, I'm sorry. A lot of us as women, I used to say, oh, I'm sorry. And then even my daughter, I'm teaching her not to say, I'm sorry. I tell her to say, please forgive me. Because when we say, I'm sorry, we're telling even ourselves unconsciously that we are sorry. It puts an end to the energy and it makes that less than. So our words have power, right? So when we say, please forgive me, we come from this heart space. It's a total different energy. It's not taking away from me like I'm less than. It's like I'm honestly from a heart space. Please forgive me for making this mistake.
Beautiful.
Does that make sense? Or this overboard.
Love it. Thank you for that. And let me remind everyone, you want to go to anotherlevelliving.com/focus files for Dr. Heather's free gift, and her course, 6-part course for regaining focus, is at anotherlevelliving.com/regaining focus. So grab that. It's just $37. And thank you for putting that together for us today.
You're welcome. And there was one other thing, and then we'll get to Olivia. There was one other thing that came with the aloha, right? So it's interesting. God didn't give Hawaii like riches, like gold, silver, like all these fancy, precious metals. He gave them aloha. And the thing is, you can't buy it. You can't sell it. You can only live it. And it's by living it, then you receive all these amazing like blessings from all over. That's why my sign back here, for those of you who can read it, says, keep calm and live aloha. And it's being able to be from this place of gratitude. I know it sounds like, how can I be grateful for this hellaciousness? Well, if you can find even just a little bit of the blessing in the hellaciousness, then it helps detach from the paralysis of what can come from that situation.
So good. So good.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. All right. Olivia.
Okay. Hey, Heather. I am so excited. I was like, I gotta get on Wow Wednesday. And I said, then how about right before I got on, I was doing the work of like some clearing work. And I was like, oh, Heather's on the Wow Wednesday today. This is so exciting. So I just have to share the fact that it is totally amazing. It's like 1 year ago, just around this time, Nancy, you had Heather
I
on.
did. I think it was just a year ago.
Yes. And here it is back a year. And I can truly say that there has been a transformation in that year with communication mastery, just my entire mindset, even as it relates to my business. And so now this is like that next stepping stone. Just listening to you today is like that. You're ready and just stepping into that. And so totally amazing. So good to see you, Heather. I have truly enjoyed today. It's been awesome. So,
I'm so happy.
yes, and thank you, Nancy. Thank you, both of you, for being the conduit and the change that's necessary for all of us. Thanks.
You're welcome. Totally my honor and pleasure. I'm so happy that you made it.
I love it. That's really awesome that it's 1 year and Olivia, like you can really mark it, right? Like we look for anniversaries of things and you can say, you know, it was a year ago I heard Heather and then I decided to take her course and it's about progress, right?
Yes.
And then
Yes.
we get those milestones like today where you're like, well, would you look at how far I've come? That's pretty awesome.
Yes, and Heather just said that there's power in the progress, and it's so true, so affirming, so totally amazing.
Hey,
So
I'm
good,
so
so
happy
good.
to hear that.
All right.
I love it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Keep on progressing. That's what we're doing, right? Every
That's
single
it.
day.
That's
Every
it.
single day. All right, beautiful. And we're getting ready to wrap up. If you do have a question or comment for Dr. Heather, go ahead and you can raise your hand, put it in the chat, hit *6, any one of those things, and I'll bring you on. And just to give you a final reminder to go to anotherlevelliving.com/focus files and anotherlevelliving.com/regaining focus. And grab those. And I think Jeanette might have unmuted herself. Jeanette, did you want to share something?
Yes, ma'am. This is the first time I've been here. As I told you, I didn't really understand what WOW was.
I know. That's why I'm
Doc-
like, she wants to share at the end. That's even better.
Well, I was so excited to hear the whole program, and Dr. Heather is amazing. And I think she's somewhat to do with the military. Is that correct? She used to be military or work?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
former Air Force. My husband's retired Air Force, 28 years. I've been a spouse. We've been all over the world. And I just want to say again, thank you. I have procedure this afternoon, and I really should be sleeping, but this is much better than sleeping. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really thank you for your service. Thank your husband for his service too. And I'm so happy that you were able to make it today. I really appreciate that. And it's an honor to hear you as well.
Beautiful.
And I'm definitely interested in both those things. So tomorrow when I'm actually more awake, if someone could follow up with me, I'd really appreciate it. Just save my number and get back with me, please.
Okay. Send me so feel free to email me, Heather@anotherlevelliving.com. Heather@anotherlevelliving.com. So therefore, we can be able to connect. Email is so great. I get lost in text messages, phones. It could be crazy, but email is like really, really good, or social media.
Perfect.
Perfect. All right. Thank you.
And-
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. And that part about just wanted to mention that part about the service, the military connection, is actually one of the things that fueled my work. I was in the DoD as a civilian working in technology, and I could see all of the stress and the overwhelm. And then my husband is a Purple Heart Marine Corps veteran. He did a couple tours in Iraq and Afghanistan and had several difficulties with post-traumatic stress and everything. And all of these experiences were really a result of this work. Like, okay, I can't control what's happening within the stress and the intensity, but how can I be the calm and then allow the calm to be able to trickle in around them so then they become calm? It's just so cool how this stuff works.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. All right, Jeanette, so glad that you followed the
And
little
I think it was Laura. It may have been Laura that invited me, because once I heard her voice, it sounded very familiar. So it very well could have been Laura.
Love it.
Awesome. Yay, we love that. All right, beautiful. We have one more hand raised, so let's go ahead and take that. Edie's Ramirez.
Hello, good morning.
Good
Thank
morning.
you so much for this Wednesday, awesome like always. And I have two things I wanted to ask. Number one, you mentioned that should be a connection between mind and what else you said to level up?
To bring the unconscious, conscious, and higher consciousness or super consciousness into alignment. Was that it?
Yeah, you mentioned something like mind.
Yeah. All in addition to that, so all that she's just talking about is in the mind, right? But also, so you think about mind, bodies, or body, mind, spirit, mind, body, right? It's all connected. A lot of times we think that they're separate, but the reality is that they're all connected. So and we can't have one really healthy and then the other one or two derailed. Like, it's so important for all of them to be vibrating and operating optimally. And one of the biggest ways to be able to do that, the one that we most commonly neglect, is the mind. And then the mind will allow the body and the spirit to be even more connected, which actually can do so many things: restore health, transformation, allow us to be able to express. I mean, the bigger hold the space for other people and ourselves. The list of what it can do is just endless.
Thank you. And then one more thing. Yes, I definitely sign out that. When you feel like you are losing your heart, that expression that you use, like when you are trying things and you know that you are not there yet, but you get frustrated and down, what would you recommend to just get out of that place and then keep moving forward?
That's such a great question. You know, what do you do when you're like in the thick of it? So, you know, we have a 3-step process here at Another Level Living. It's lean in, let go, and leap forward. You know, I remember I was talking with, I ran into one of my friends at the store, and she's like, "Heather, I'm just grumpy today." And I told her, "Well, give yourself permission to be grumpy." And she's like, "What? I can do that?" And I'm like, yeah, if you keep trying to say I shouldn't be grumpy, then your mind is just going to be like conflicted even more. But if you give yourself permission to own that feeling, not stay there, right? You give yourself permission to be able to own, okay, what's going on, leaning into it. Sometimes that could be the hardest part. What's causing this frustration? What's causing this spiral down? What are the things I can control? What are the things that I can't? You know, being able to lean into it. And then that's when you can give yourself permission to be able to let go. Okay, what do I want instead? You know, I'm feeling this way. This has been this spiral down. What do I want instead? Just by even asking that question, then your unconscious mind will start to be like, well, I want to be a little bit joyful about this. I may be feeling sucky about it now, but how do I want to be able to feel about it? And it starts to be able to pull you out of that. And one of the things I recommend is having support on the battle. We are not called to do things alone. And a lot of times we think that there is no one who understands and or is going through some of the similar things that we're going through. Every situation is different, but that's why it's so important to be able to have that higher level of support. That's one reason why I love coaching. So if you haven't, there was a cool opt-in to be able to get the Power of Coaching book on that link for the Regaining Focus course, because I talk about, you know, how having that support of being able to have someone that can hold you accountable, to be able to vent out. Sometimes we have to empty out. We can't pour out from an empty cup. So having that safe and confidential environment is so crucial. because then you can be able to empty out and be like, okay, now I can lean forward.
Beautiful.
And reconnect to your breath. There's something about like just even putting your hand on your heart and be like, okay, I'm feeling this.
Isn't that what ha means? Ha is breath?
Ha is breath.
Like
Ha.
Hawaii? Is it
Hawaii. Breath, and then the vi, that's like the water, right? To ride the breath. I hope that helped, Evie.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, my friend, thank you. Mahalo. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Oh, I think this is I love you.
Love you too.
Yeah, thank you for pouring into all of us today with your gifts, with your heart, and with your knowledge. I love you so much and appreciate you.
I totally appreciate you. It was my honor and purpose and pleasure to be here. And I'm just so grateful for this opportunity to be able to share with you. I'm hoping everyone leaves inspired, ready to go rock the day. And feel free to reach out to me. I'm here just an email away. Okay.
Beautiful. All right, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Heather. Thank you all for joining us this morning. Be sure to connect with Dr. Heather, connect with yourself. That's what this is about. And all the goodness you're here to give. We love you. Get out there, make it a wow day, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone. Bye, Heather.